You've been in an interrogation room for hours, answering questions voluntarily. Then, the detective calmly suggests it is time for you to get a lawyer. In police protocol, this moment represents a specific psychological tripwire. It marks the invisible threshold where a cooperative witness has been reclassified as the prime suspect. The environmental trigger that confirms this shift is often remarkably mundane. For Tayo, a man being questioned about his neighbor's death, it happens when the silent guard finally speaks up to offer him a cup of coffee. It sounds like a polite gesture, but it triggers an immediate wave of panic. Interrogators do not offer a hot cup of coffee to a man they expect to walk out the door in 5 minutes. It is a stalling tactic designed to keep him in the chair. Tayo decides to test his freedom by announcing he should leave. Inspector Aiken agrees immediately, closing his notebook and smiling. But before Tayo can stand, the detective adds he just needs to clarify one last thing. That casual request is the lock snapping shut. The pretense of a friendly chat has evaporated, leaving Tayo trapped in a room where he is no longer a guest, but the target. Inspector Aiken initiates his first tactical strike by sliding a small digital recorder across the table. It contains a statement from an elderly neighbor who heard an argument in the victim's apartment. This graphic shows the audio profile of the recording. You have a sharp, clear frequency at the top, which belongs to the victim, Mrs. Coker. But underneath it is a second voice, a male frequency, heavily distorted. Tayo leans in. He recognizes that cadence with the intimate familiarity of his own footsteps behind him in the dark. The voice belongs to his brother, Kunle, who disappeared 8 months ago. Akin lets the tape play and weaponizes the silence that follows. He watches Tayo's micro-expressions. When asked if he recognizes the voice, Tayo denies it instantly. It is a reflex, too fast, and the detective clearly registers the lie. By introducing the ghost of a missing family member, Akin bypasses Tayo's logical defenses. He shatters the suspect's emotional baseline, claiming psychological control over the rest of the interrogation. With Tayo's guard down, the detective abruptly drops the emotional pressure and strikes with hard forensic data, his phone records. This timeline illustrates the discrepancy. For 6 hours, Tayo claimed he only spoke to the victim once to borrow a pot. The bottom timeline shows the actual police data, 3 separate calls made by Tayo to the victim just last week. Akin calmly suggests that memory changes under pressure, inviting Tayo to frame the lie as an accidental omission. This logic trap corners Tayo perfectly. By agreeing with the detective to save face, he admits his own testimony is flawed, effectively stripping away his credibility as a reliable witness. Then comes the final blow. Akin slides a brown file across the table and opens it, revealing the physical evidence he has been holding on to all night. It is a grainy, low-contrast security photo. It shows a tall, broad-shouldered man wearing a dark hoodie entering the apartment building. The face is completely obscured. The face is less important than the digital numbers in the corner. The timestamp reads 11:43 p.m., the exact night before the body was found. The emotional shock, the admitted lie, and the ambiguous photo create a narrative Tayo can no longer escape. He is being buried under the weight of his own contradictions. Tayo verbally denies that the man in the photo is him, but internally his confidence is beginning to erode. Lately, he has been experiencing severe cognitive dissonance, small gaps in his day, lost hours, untraceable moments that he previously brushed off as exhaustion or stress from work. As he stares at the hooded figure, the gaps in his own memory begin to take on a physical shape. He cannot account for his own whereabouts, and the possibility that he was the man in the doorway becomes a sickening reality. Sensing the exact moment Tayo's internal logic collapses, Inspector Aiken leans in and asks his final question. Is there something you are afraid to remember? Tayo is left to confront a possibility far colder than a prison cell, the terrifying unreliability of his own mind. He is no longer just a suspect in a crime, but a stranger to himself.